Hello everybody, welcome to Bass and Bonsai. That's how you do it. Talking about backups, backup baits, backup rods, reels, backup plans. Mwah. Buckle up and back on up, because here we go. It's going to be a good one. Hello everybody, welcome to the show. We're talking about how to cover yourself when you're out fishing. Basically a system to fish and a backup to cover that in case something goes wrong. So I'll talk more later, probably do a proper intro, but right now we're just getting out here. It's a little bit late to the start. It's 7:20. I usually like to get out here about 6 a.m. or a little earlier. So topwater bite may be done. And as you guys can see, we're gonna swing around here. This sun is out and bright, but there's still a little shade on this side. We might try a little topwater too. But buckle up and hang on, because we're going fish catching, not fishing. Hopefully, if we catch fish. All right, we're going to keep going. Throw that worm right up against the bank. Pull it off, let it sink. Got one. Whoa. Get up. Oh yeah. All right. Well, we didn't have any luck there, but up along this dam. Whoa, you guys were all out of whack. Finally, skunk is out of the boat. We've caught a largemouth bass this morning. Mwah. Woo. I was beginning to wonder. One last look, and I was beginning to wonder, but why did we catch this fish? Because we have backup plans, and that's kind of what today's video has been about, going to be about. Whoa, that was a jumper. I should have showed. He went down and jumped right back up. But we're talking about, you know, you go out on the water, say like for me, for instance, I spend anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours driving to a spot. You know, what do you need? What do you got to have as far as this is today's video? I'm not really on all the process of what you need, but like the rod and reel, the combos you need. And why I recommend at least 3 rods. I know a lot of guys say 1. You can have 1 all around versatile rod. But kind of today I'll talk about why you need what I consider to cover the whole spectrum and, you know, be efficient in whatever you're fishing, whether it be a big pond, small lake, big lake, whatever, and you're just, whether you're fishing from the bank, it's harder to carry 3 rods if you're walking along, or a kayak or whatever. It's basically small, medium, and large. You know, you need that ultralight or BFS type stuff to the medium, which is a medium power rod roughly. The action can be different, you know, as far as a medium action is, say it bends about half the rod bends. It's not a fast action or whatever, but we're going to talk about that and the ones that I use and what I kind of recommend if you're on a budget or not on a budget or whatever as we catch fish. And this is a perfect, if you can swing the money, 802C, but I've talked about it before. You've seen in my videos. The cheap version of this that works awesome is basically just the 6'6" or 7-foot medium action lightning rod. Will cover a broad spectrum of baits. So I'd say this is from about as high end. You can get a touch more expensive nowadays than this, to your the lowest end. The cheapest one I know of that is very efficient at all that is the lightning rod. And the reason that's your main rod is just because it will catch, or it's capable of throwing down to that, say, 16th ounce if you have to, all the way up to, say, this one's like a 5/8 or 3/8, but it'll throw like a 3/4 or so, you know, say if your big rod messes up. So, but then there's times when you just need that bigger, you know, especially a lot of you guys are fishing when there's bigger bass and you want to, you know, punch or whatever, where you just need a heavy action. You need the power. Say it's maybe not even to throw the bait, but if you get it hooked up, you need to be able to just, you know, power them through. And the length doesn't matter, but the power does. You need that heavy action to just, you know, horse them on in and through, to where this all around your all-purpose rod may not be the best one, but in a pinch, if something happened to that rod, you could do it. And then you could always switch your reel to that rod if that's the case, because the reels nowadays, honestly, this Aldebaran, whether it be the BFS XG, the 30 MGL, the 50, they will work on a heavy action rod with, you know, braid. You put, you know, I don't run anything over much 15, 20 pounds. I've ran 30 before. Some guys run 40 to 60, but you could take a Aldebaran 50 or 30 even, put 50-pound braid on it. It'll hold enough line to get long casts with big fish, and you can crank the drag pretty tight. The gears aren't that weak. Some guys will say they strip them out right and left. They just don't know how to use a fishing freaking reel. They just, I've seen guys glue the drags together and they want that direct drive. That's not what these are intended for. If you want a power winch, go get you one of those big ocean ones or something if you got to go that crazy. And that's what some guys do with the swim bait stuff. They get the bigger round reels. But for bass, I don't care where you're fishing. For bass, for largemouth bass, the Aldebaran will get the job done. In any circumstance. They even make a style. If you don't believe me, you can get a style which is basically set up for saltwater. Same thing with the new Revo platform. They make a TRV, and you can get that baby, which is kind of set up for saltwater with the big handle. These small reels are a lot more powerful than you guys realize. But if you got your drag set right and it's fairly tight, it's going to set the hook and play the fish and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I don't even know why I'm rambling on. Should I leave this in? Oh yeah. There we go. The old TRD won't let you down. It may not bring a monster, but that old TRD is just what it's supposed to be. The real deal. Looks like they're feeding on the bottom. Look at that junky poop. Ugh. I ain't kissing that one. Get out of there. It'll catch them. I'm not sure what they feed on when they're like that. If they're just grazing on the bottom, like sucking up that mud, eating junk off the bottom. All right, let's keep going. That quick. Whoa, they're getting smaller. That quick, the little TRDs on this little bite. Well, we got little fish up against the banks, I guess. Where are the big ones? Are they right up there? We just need to throw something louder, faster, brighter, stronger. Or are they just out deeper already? Bigger? No, not really. Whoa! In the boat. He's in the boat. In the boat. Get out of here. Oh, he splashed me. Dirty dog. Alright. TRD is flat tearing them up. And this rod, the 661, not necessarily real. The reel's awesome for this, but this is the rod I like. You guys remember I caught my first and only smallmouth on this exact setup, different reel. Had the PW100 on it. But this 661, and unfortunately, every time I find something I really like and I want to tell you guys about, that I'm like, this is the one, they don't make them anymore. I can't find this one piece on AliExpress anywhere. They still make a two piece. And I put the handle on this one piece, but this was a one piece, or is a one piece rod from AliExpress, about like $98 shipped, which is pretty cheap, and it's an awesome rod. You guys, if you know the channel, if you don't know the channel, go back and look out for the videos that I fished everything to the big Whopper Plopper 130 on this, down to 16th ounce crappie jig, and everything in between. It's got that crazy, almost a full flex type thing. It's like what you call a mid, like it definitely flexes past halfway. And the whole rod does have a little give to it when you get a big fish hooked up. And so whether it's treble baits or these small single hooks, it's that just enough power, like you can set a hook on a smaller hook, and then it gives enough to not, they don't yank that hook out. So it's an awesome, what I call BFS rod for big fish. You can catch them on the smaller Teton, but you're kind of just holding on. This thing is like throw them little baits, and like you feel like you've got a little bit of power to work, a you may just be holding on to 5-pounders and letting them, you know, but they don't fall off, and yet you can have a little maneuverability with them anyway. So that's why I like that rod. And these guys are still a little fun to set and catch. Maybe not quite this small on the 661 light, but you know, you still go out here throwing TRDs and smaller baits and have fun with this rod. Yet I'm not afraid if I hook something big and I feel something big's on it, I feel confident I'm gonna be able to get it in. I'm not just like, whoa, I hope I get it. You know, I feel like, all right, you know, may have to play it a little bit, but I can get it in with this rod. Okay, we ran crazy on time, but we just had a hit right over here. Threw this chatterbait right over here and had a little bump. So I'm not really talking about backup baits today, but I'm talking about backup everything in general. And another reason why it's always good to have another bait, another rod rigged up on it with another bait, so you can throw it right back into that spot. Of course, I looked at the camera and realized we were already like over 10 minutes into filming, so I deleted that footage. But generally, you get a tap on something else, you know, either throw that right back in or reach down and grab your backup bait and throw it right back in that same spot. Just like that, and that's why. So you can catch that fish. Oh, wow. Now I'm not saying that you can't do that with the same rod. Just stop and switch baits. Problem is, even with the snap, that extra little time sometimes can be the deal breaker. They're like right then and there, they're active and they'll smack right at something else right in their face. That is a nice bass on a backup bait, backup rod and reel. So that's why I talk about, you know, when you go out fishing, kind of have a plan. Have you guys ever watched the A-Team? Hannibal always loves it when a plan comes together. Well, for a plan to come together, guess what? You guessed it. You got to have a plan. So make yourself a plan, have a backup plan, that kind of thing. Lovely fish. Let's